This is the Everyday Hustle Show, where our number one priority is self-development.
Each week, we will dive into insightful topics that encourage you to push your thinking beyond average.
Smash that subscribe button and tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m. All right, welcome everyone to another edition of the Everyday Hustle Show.
Yeah.
This is the 48th recorded episode. Dude, how do you guys feel about that new intro we just laid down?
It's fire. Fire.
You guys did an intro without me?
No, dude, you're
Oh,
in it.
that's right.
Yes, were you there? Were you in the building?
I came right off the top of the freaking head, and I just
Straight off the dome. Freestyle.
another
Yo,
human
shout out to Abel
perfection
for that
moment.
beat.
Shout out to AC Delgado in the house.
I feel
How
like
can people get a hold of him if they want to collaborate or get some info from him or maybe do a project with him?
They can reach out to Aguila Creative or AC Delgado on Instagram.
He is also on Aguila Creative on Grindr, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, geez.
No, he's not.
Never fail.
JK.
So, let's start this episode off. New format, fire and hot. Problem and solution time.
Ooh.
Jesse, why don't you go ahead and set it off?
Oh, my
Set it
God.
off,
I don't know
dude.
what you guys are talking about. What's happening?
Set us off, dude. Set us off right,
No,
All right,
why don't
Jesse
you
got
go ahead?
it for problem solution. Christian and I are fully prepared. We're ready to rock and roll. All right, Chris, set this thing off, man. Problem and solution for the week. Let's go.
Problem. So, for anyone that listened to the last episode, they know the little bit of a personal dilemma I had at work. And so, funny enough, I went to help out a friend, or not a friend, a coworker. They pulled me off of my job, sent me to there, and there ended up being like an issue where we took out the coil. It was a coil swap, and the coil wasn't sitting properly. So we tried, we took it, and this was like a tough place to get it. It was up in the ceiling. We had to literally like manhandle it up there. And so we finally got it in there. It wasn't sitting right. We pulled it out a couple times. We're like scratching our heads. Probably like 30 minutes had gone by. And I was just thinking, which this is bad, but I'm going to say it because I need to. But I was just thinking like, damn, I'm so glad that I'm not like the one that has to, I'm here to help him out. So it's not like this is my job basically, which that's something that I definitely need to work on. But
Damn, that's selfish, B.
very selfish. So, I mean, I was still there obviously trying to help him out, trying to think, brainstorm. And then finally, we figured it out. He was like, damn, I think this, the pan or the drain pan is backwards. And so that's what it was. So we had to literally yank this thing out, swap it around, all while the customer in the suite, this is like an office suite, was like complaining and shit like, oh, it's so hot in here. Like, we can hear him in like the back just crying. So we were just kind of like, it wasn't the ideal situation, but that was a solution. We stayed there until we figured out. We didn't just like, force the lid back on and just say, okay, whatever. Because if we would have, brazed the lines back in, then it would have been such a more lengthier process down the road when someone actually sees it and is like, dude, this isn't right. So that was, the solution. We stayed there until it was, fixed. I still have a lot of work that I need to do on myself, clearly, but I'm learning, and on the next episode, I'll talk about something else that happened that was actually good this time. So that's my problem solution.
So the moral of the story is you can't fit a square peg into a round hole.
Correct. Yes, sir.
All right, so my problem was, or my little saying for my problem was, big problems have small solutions.
Okay.
Right? So the way I'm looking at things right now, and this is kind of, anybody who's taken on a big task or a big project can kind of feel this way sometimes. I had a big spreadsheet that I was working on for the juice bar, and it's just miles long. And I'm just looking at this thing, and I'm just saying to myself, like, frick me, man. Like, this thing is going to take weeks to do,
Yeah.
And if you look at every project like that, you're never going to get anything done. So
Right. You get overwhelmed.
yeah, you get overwhelmed. Shit's like, oh, man, I'll never finish this. And it's like, you won't if you have that mentality. But at the end of the day, like, you'll never get the big projects done until you sit there and just get it done piece by piece. Small solutions for big problems. Don't make a bigger problem out of, a small problem that really, you could just be working on it piece by piece,
Right.
and all those small pieces come together and they make a big solution for that project.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's solid.
Jesse, what do you think? Vibe off of our problem and solutions.
Well, no, I say F your problems and your solutions. The only thing I really can say, I don't really want to get into a whole lot, man. But there's a few things going on at work that are kind of out of my realm of control.
Okay.
And it kind of, some of it kind of, it really freaks me out, but it's like, it's not what I would like, So I feel like the only thing is you sit there and you dwell on like, well, fuck, man, I don't want to do that, or I don't want things to go like that. I feel like it would, it would fuck up the natural order of things right now, But basically, the only thing I can do is just focus on what I can control, and that's, my attitude and, my motivation and drive and that's it. You just sometimes it applies in all different areas. Like if something's going on that you don't really like, but you can't control it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard. That's really, I think, one of the hardest things in life is to just kind of let go of like freaking out about it, or like what, like there's nothing you can do. Like it could be, even as far as like someone passing away, like you can't, there's nothing you can do. Like it applies in so many different areas. It's a very generalized statement, but
are you saying you're powerless, bro?
All you can do,
dude,
is focus on what you can control,
and accept what's happening.
Yeah, just like kind of, it's like, all right, well, obviously if I was making the decision, this isn't what I would do, but it's beyond me.
Yeah, you're not making
I'm powerless to whatever it is that's going on, and you just gotta focus on what you can control, and that's staying focused, doing things the way you should be doing it, and living your life.
Jesse, you can't fool the people out here, man. You know what I'm saying? You act like you don't want to put in, but you just went so deep, dude.
Well, no, yeah. It's basically, I'm not talking about anything crazy. It's just I have like a feeling, that things, my job, there's always like a management shift, and basically I put in a lot of work right now with where I'm at and what I'm doing, and I just have a feeling, like I've had this feeling since like a month ago. I'm just like, I know that once I get all this done, like, and I'm really proud of what I've done here, and I take like a lot of pride in what I'm doing, that someone's just gonna be like, oh, good job, now we're sending you somewhere else, Right. And I have no verification that something like that's actually going to happen, but I just have this feeling in the back of my head, and I keep thinking about it, but I can't control it, and if that would happen, I still got a job. I'm still getting that paycheck. I'm still doing what I can do. So, I can't control everything, and sometimes you just got to focus on what you can control,
Right on. Fire way to start the podcast. Really got me firing on all cylinders over here, Jesse.
Oh, okay.
I love it. So let's dive into our first topic. Christian and I both have a topic tonight that we're going to discuss. And the first one that we'll dive right into is this. So I'll read this. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, and then I'm going to pass it off to you guys. You tell me what you think and what you feel about this, okay? So
sounds good.
I just wrote down that the podcast and everything that I do in my life is for my benefit. Okay, now I obviously want other people to listen and benefit from it as well, but it all comes down to the fact that I will be the one reaping the greatest benefits from any work that I do, really in any aspect of my life, right? So I was actually having a conversation with Joe about some stuff, right? So shout out to Joe. If you didn't listen to last week's
shout out to
episode,
Joe.
you got to go back. You got to check that epised out.
2 episodes ago, I think.
2 episodes ago by now, yeah. And there's extreme value in that. But you know what he said to me? He said, I built a business with clean books.
Yeah.
And something about that just like, so I had to call him and like talk to him more about that because I want to build a business with clean books.
Yeah.
So, and And he was like, dude, thank you so much. It meant so much for me to be on there. And I was like, yeah, I was like, I don't really know what, if the podcast this, the podcast that. And he's like, dude, it's for you.
Right.
So like, I have to remind myself that a lot of times, and we've talked about it before, like, why do we keep doing this? Why are we keeping on with the process? It's costing us money. It's taking a lot of time, a lot of effort.
Yeah.
A lot of audio engineering goes into it and all this other stuff. But it's like, I'm doing it at the end of the day, I'm doing it for myself and for you guys. And also, like, if we didn't do this each week, it would, our friendship would probably dwindle a little bit and we wouldn't see each other as much, which would be very upsetting to me because I, value our relationships. So it's just important for me to remember that everything that I do in my life, like, I do have other people, I have a beautiful, loving, pregnant wife that I think about and care about, and a lot of the things that I do are for her and for the family, but I have to keep in the forefront of my mind that the podcast, building a business, developing myself, whether it's reading or listening to podcasts or those things in turn are going to elevate myself
100%.
more than anyone else. So I just wanted to pick your guys' brains on that and see what you thought about it, because sometimes I'm like, I just want people to listen. I want people to listen. I want people to listen to the podcast. But at the end of the day, it's like, if they don't listen, it's okay because I'm getting the most out of it than anyone else. I hope that they listen, but if they don't, it's okay. And our numbers, like, in downloads, they've gone down too, which is another thing that I look at. But it's like who gives a shit? And it's also like your Instagram followers, like, who gives a shit? Like, friends you have on Facebook, like, who gives a shit? Like, sometimes I get wrapped up in the mindset of like, oh, that illusion is so important that people are listening or following or liking, and it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna hand it off to Jesse. Jesse, what do you think? How you feel? Tell me about it.
Well, brother, I always I have that thought the same exact thought in my head sometimes, not so much anymore, because I'd be like, why are we doing this? Like, is anyone really, like, are we ever going to really get a lot of followers, or, who actually listens? But it kind of like, there's two reasons that I kind of continue to do this. Number one, like you said, I love the both of you very much, and it gives us
dude.
Sometimes I have dreams about the two of you and the three of us together, and no, I'm just kidding. But it gives the three of us a reason to hang out. Like, I think I personally love when we're hanging out, just joking around, being idiots. Like, it's refreshing. And I do worry that, well, if we stop doing this, I'd still see you guys, but how often would it be? Like, it's kind of nice to, like, have this designated time to just kind of chill out and actually do something productive, whether anyone gives a shit about it or not. Like, it is somewhat productive, we're getting together, we're talking about stuff, and it's not just bullshit we're talking about. It's like, how do we better our lives, and it takes it to a personal level. Like, well, this is what I'm doing, this is the problems I go through, this is how I choose to, like, find a solution. Like, it's about vision and on a personal level for all of us. So it's cool. And secondly, I'm losing my train of thought here, but I did have something. So it's no joke or no secret that the three of us kind of live lives in recovery,
right?
But personally, I'm not so much as, like, I don't follow the beaten path that everyone else does. Like, I live a life with, choosing to not drink alcohol or do drugs of any kind or sort. But I don't really go to meetings as much. But this is, like, for me, this is, like, kind of the time of the week that I choose to, like, think about bettering yourself, and I do live a life where I, like, my thought process is different than it was a couple years ago. Like, the decisions I make are 100% different than a couple years ago, and this kind of ties into all that. This is about, like, building lives for ourselves, and this is, like, a big part in, like, the new life that I have,
right?
So, you know what I'm saying?
That's fire.
Amazing.
Right there,
Chris, take the torch, my brother.
Yeah, well, both of you guys pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's what you said. Basically, what I got from it is just that, doing stuff for yourself and not really like doing it for other people, or like, wanting to seek like some sort of validation or doing stuff for other people. But I've actually been like, I told you guys already, but I've been kind of getting back to where I used to be with, watching motivational videos and stuff every single day, like on my lunch break or heading to work and stuff like that. And, it's funny you mentioned that, because it's actually one thing. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of him, but Inky Johnson, he's a motivational speaker. And, he essentially said exactly like that. And when you like listen to his story, it's like, it's insane. But basically the way he lives his life is that he does things like for himself, and it's like, so the whole like integrity thing, and honesty thing, being honest with yourself. He says, when you do something and you don't hold your word, or you feel like you're lying to other people, you're actually just lying to yourself. So that's kind of like what comes up to mind when you said that, is just that, and that's what I'm doing with at work now. The way I'm starting to like think this week, it started to kind of shift. And that's, when nobody's watching, and I work alone a lot, but like when no one's watching, that means that I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm just doing it for myself. So if I do a shitty job, if I do a great job, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be just for myself. No one's going to know about it, unless I tell people. But, that's, that's like a great topic, because, for the majority of a lot of like what people are trying to do, whether it's like get on a diet, or start to go back to the gym, or want to like pick up a new habit, the majority of it's going to be like you versus you, like nobody else is going to get you to like lose weight. At the end of the day, it's going to be just you needing to find that motivation for yourself and to do it for yourself. So that's a great topic.
Amazing stuff. So Chris, let's dive into your topic. Let's get into it.
Go ahead.
What you got for us?
Yeah, so my topic was actually kind of similar to that, and it again goes with one of the motivational videos that I picked up, and it's basically just talking about like the importance of having a vision. And what I kind of like got from that, and something that I've been talking about even with like when Joe was on the episode, was basically that, trying to have more intention in my life, and more intention in everything that I do. So basically that means, sitting down, and this is what I did actually yesterday, writing like, what do I want out of my job? What do I want out of my relationships? What do I want out of my life? What do I want like out of like finances? And, just literally sitting down. It's actually from Les Brown, something I picked up from Les Brown, if anyone wants to check him out. And, basically...
If you were listening, you haven't heard of Les Brown, you need to check up from the neck up. All right, people?
Yo, he's like seriously like... almost like on the emotional level when I was listening to it and just like driving.
He has a son who does the same thing too.
No, I didn't know that actually. I literally just started listening. Like I said, this past week. I've been kind
really?
Of, yeah,
dude.
So I've heard like Eric Thomas and stuff like mention him and other people.
Les Brown's
but
a real deal.
Yeah,
like his story about. I know I didn't want to interrupt you when you were talking about Inky Johnson.
Yeah,
I know his story well.
Inky,
and I've listened to him a lot.
Fire.
And I know Les Brown's story. I mean, someone comes up from that background. And he was. What does he say? He's labeled educable, mentally retarded.
Yeah.
And look at the things that he's accomplished in his life. But continue on with your topic.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like what he's like his essential message in what I got from that was just the whole like importance of having a vision, and like until you can like sit down and actually like ask yourself like what is it that I actually want, then like the universe or like whatever you don't even have to get like that deep, but just if you don't know what you want, like you're just not gonna ever get to anywhere, you know. And like some people are just like so undecisive and so just not like serious about things, and then 20 years goes by and it's just like the same shit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I got from it, and the whole like idea of like where I'm trying to go with now and like what I'm trying to do on a daily basis now is just that. It's basically just like having more intention with what I'm doing, and like when I'm at work alone, like how am I carrying myself? What type of work am I doing? And it definitely like helps build my character and my confidence, and like that's like such a huge thing for me, and something that like I understand without being confident. When you do stuff without confidence, it's just it just looks like you're out of place.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can like walk with confidence and like do things with confidence in like every aspect of your life, it just looks like you're supposed to be there. It looks like you're supposed to be doing that. So that was my topic. And, you know, I just wanted to ask you guys if you guys could, this is another thing that I got from like, if you could briefly just like think about your life in three years, let's just say 3 years.
3 years from now?
Or actually, no, let's say 5 years from now. If you could think of like your ideal life 5 years from now, it doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be like this crazy thing, but just roughly what would it look like as far as like your living situation, your financial situation, your job situation, like what would it look like? I'll go with Drew first.
Damn, you're going to pass the freaking torch to me?
Drew's already got his vision planned out though. At this point,
oh, it doesn't hurt to keep speaking it into existence.
He'll then probably have a second child.
Yeah, maybe.
Is this thing on? Check. All right, here we go. Dude, first off, freaking amazing topic. All right, so let me just get this straight before I go on a tangent. You're asking, what is your intent with your life, your career path, your goals? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Where is your vision?
Yeah.
You know, what is the perfect, you know...
And not like so crazy, but just like... If you could just see like a picture of what your life is, yeah.
I got you. I just wanted to clarify that before I dove in here. So, okay, so first things first. I feel like that for me, the point of building a business is to allow myself freedom. Freedom financially, freedom, you know, time-wise, freedom in a few different aspects, right? So, essentially for me, my intent and my purpose and my drive is to, right now in this moment, I'm sacrificing a lot, right? So I'm not doing anything for myself other than going to the gym and spending time with my wife, right? No jet ski, no beach, no swimming, no weekend trips anywhere. I'm doing nothing. You know, for the past 6 weeks, it's been like that, and it's going to be like that for probably another few months, and I'm okay with it. But my intent is to build that business to give me the freedom to build my videography and photo business, right? I want to be able to take photos and make videos all day, every day. That's I tell it to people every day in the juice bar, like that's my passion project. That's what I do. That's what I want to do. Like I'm not really fired up about making smoothies, you know. It's not my passion, but I do enjoy building the business from nothing, which is really rewarding. So, you know, my vision and my intent and my purpose in my life is to stay focused and sacrifice things in my life to get me to that next level, to build this business, to allow me to explore another endeavor, which is building another business. But that's one that, like, I don't know, I just feel like when I'm waking up and I'm making videos, I'm not working. You know, if I'm going into this business right now and I'm in the juice bar, I feel like I'm working.
Right.
You know, and that's okay, because eventually I'm not going to be in there every day. I'm going to be just overseeing the operations of the business. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it. I want to work on the business, not in the business, because I want that to become a reality. But yeah, that's where I want to be. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to have a healthy family. I want to be able to have a good life, and I want to, you know, I don't want to have to worry about money. You know, I want that just to be a byproduct of everything else. I just want to live in the excitement, in the passion of creating photos and videos and stuff that's going to leave an impression, a lasting impression on society.
That's awesome, man. Fire, dude. What about you, Jess? What you got, Jess?
I was too busy filming that I completely
You're getting some angles, bro.
No, I was pretty much in the same angle the entire speech. So, I don't know, dude. Put me on the spot, man. So 5 years from now?
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I'm just saying, like, just if you can give, like, an ideal...
Well,
you know.
I mean, I feel like I'm taking steps to, whether I'm with the same company or not, you know, to work myself into a career with management. Okay. And I've taken some steps there, and things are going good. So I'm just kind of staying to the same path, same mentality with that, and we'll see where it goes. Like I said, if I'm not with the same company, that's not necessarily part of my vision that I want to be, you know, with Cemex for the rest of my life. But, you know, being able to, I mean, it's taught me like how, you know, a business runs and kind of what it takes, whether, you know, so I don't know. We'll see. It's some kind of management career, you know. Beyond that, I don't know, man. In 5 years, like, I've kind of been hesitant with it, but I'd probably want to build a family, you know?
Oh, okay.
Have a kid.
A little
I don't know
freaking
about
Jess, dude?
two, but probably a kid. I would say, yeah, in the next 5 years, I'd probably have a kid. You know, maybe me and Helene get married.
Oh, okay. Okay, putting it out there.
I'd like to have a permanent residence in Florida.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I've kind of bounced around from apartment to apartment. But there's kind of more of a plan in sight with that, you know, like I'm done kind of
Right.
bouncing. It's like, all right, now I have to have a certain living situation for a certain period of time till we can buy a house. But yeah, you know,
Fire.
other than that, it's like, it's all family, man.
Family.
Chris, I'm passing the torch to you, my brother.
Oh,
You better shed some insight on your own topic here and tell us what your vision is.
I mean, I'm still, to be completely honest, I'm actually like really right now.
17 kids.
That would actually be, I do want a kind of a big family.
17?
Not 17, but
How
I want
many?
to. I keep telling Kelly 5, but
5? Dude,
yeah.
you're fucking insane.
Dude, I'm
sorry.
Mexican, bro. We love big families, man.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Love it, dude. Love it. But I'm like right now, like literally, like this past week has been super big for me. I've just been like really, like I said, I sat down, I started writing down, like asking myself, what is it that I actually want? What would it look like? And so I haven't gotten there yet. I don't know the exact details, but I'm looking more like, okay, so for example, my job, like Jesse said, it doesn't necessarily have to be that I want to be with my company or be a mechanic for the rest of my life. But what I do want out of my job is to learn how to problem solve, to learn how to like stay until the problem is 100% resolved. And it's going to take time because naturally, like I keep saying, you know, it's still something I naturally struggle with, especially when no one's watching. You know, it's you know, it is what it is, and so I'm you know, being honest with myself about it, and you know, just so another thing that I did hear too is that, you know, I have to build like the habits that I want down the road. I have to start working on that first, basically, and before I do anything else. So there's a couple things that I'm working on right now, like personally, as far as like, you know, with the podcast, like you were saying at the beginning, you know, like why are we still doing this? And I think that was actually something that I you know, I want to talk to you guys about, just to get more of like a clear idea. And I think that'll kind of help us like brainstorm and kind of like think of different ways to kind of branch out and do new things. And I think it'll be exciting, and that's something that I'm doing with La Frontera too. We actually just started a new project that stems off of Trucha Thursdays, and we're taking it now to a visual platform. So now we're going to be doing like a Skype chat with the people that we brought on in the past. And so the whole idea is just to kind of reach out and you know, continue to do that whole creation of like a platform. So it's a work in progress, man, but I am definitely like trying to be as honest with myself as possible right now, and like really trying to not just be like, okay, I want this, so now I'm going to like say I'm going to do this habit, do it for like 2 months, and then just get tired out and like stop, you know. So I'm really trying to like sit down and be honest with myself about like, what is it that I actually want, and what does it look like, and then what does it look like to actually get there. So I'm working on it.
Oh my God, Siri, you freaking...
She don't have that information.
Shut up,
don't have
Siri.
it.
Topic, great insight, everyone. Amazing conversation. Jesse, let's roll over to the Motivation Manifesto.
You know, it's crazy how I'm not even kidding about this. There's no preparation done in this, but every time I open this goddamn book, it's something that sort of ties into exactly what we're talking about. I'll try to keep it short, but this is about clarity on what is meaningful.
Ooh.
What will give us a sense that we are more in command of our life's agenda, clarity, direction, and progress.
Yep.
We begin developing clarity about the current state of our life's agenda by realizing that all human experience is segmented into two fields: meaningful activities and non-meaningful activities. This force is a clear distinction when evaluating our days. Do I find what I'm doing each day in my life meaningful? Is all this busy work in line with what I feel is my life's work? There are the questions of the self-determined. Such questions make us reevaluate everything. Every task, responsibility, and opportunity that is laid before us by the world must now be questioned as to whether or not it aligns with our goals, whether or not it enlivens us, or whether or not it allows us to feel fulfilled.
Holy shit, boys.
Dude, got the
So,
chills over here.
You know, I think that the self-determined people, you know, such as ourselves, you know, we do. Like, I sometimes, even with this podcast, you know, it ties into what he's talking about with this podcast. Like, are what we doing here meaningful in my life? Sometimes it's like, I don't know. But then you think back, like once again, we're doing this for ourselves.
Right.
Who gives a flying shit if one person listens to this show? You know, we're talking about what matters to us, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir. Yep. That's it, man. Cut the bullshit and do what you love.
Love the reading. Love everything about the episode. That's it, man. We're keeping it short, sweet, to the point. We're wrapping up here. Before we end this episode, remember, guys, our podcast is brought to you by D Squared Media.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
They are specializing in business branding, graphic design, print work, whatever you need to help make your vision a reality in a business aspect, personal aspect, whatever it is, they can help you do that. You can check out our episode or our website, theeverydayhustleshow.com, which is actually completely redesigned by them. And we want to say thank you to them for all their hard work. You could also check out anything that has to do with the Juice Bar, Juice Revolution on Facebook and Instagram. They completely branded that company from start to finish.
So good.
Well, it's not over, but you know what I mean.
So good. I was just there earlier today.
Thank you to their team, and anybody who reaches out to them and said that they heard about them on the podcast is going to receive 10% off their invoice. So you could potentially save hundreds, Jess.
Thousands.
Maybe
Millions.
I'd like to personally ask every one of our listeners to make like a bee and buzz the frick off.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next week.